The headlines: Solomon Islands reaffirmed its commitment to regional leadership this week, participating in the first in-person meeting of the Pacific Islands Forum Troika. Solomon Water has officially launched its 5-year corporate strategic plan for 2024 to 2028. And the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and the Isabel Provincial Government have signed an MOU that allocates 687 hectares of land within the Gozoruru property. Hello, you're watching SIBC's TV News Bulletin. I'm Eliza Kukutu. Solomon Islands has reaffirmed its commitment to regional leadership this week, participating in the first in-person meeting of the Pacific Islands Forum PIF Troika held in Nadi, Fiji. Speaking to local media upon his arrival into the country today, Prime Minister Honorable Jeremiah Manele says the meeting brought together members of the Troika. As the host of the upcoming 54th Pacific Island Forum Leaders Meeting, Solomon Islands is an active member of the Troika. He said the meeting oversees key areas of work undertaken by the Forum Secretariat between annual Leaders Summits.
I left the country on Saturday, 12th April, to participate in the second meeting of the Pacific Islands Forum Troika in Nadi on Monday, 14th April 2025. This was the first face-to-face meeting of the PIF Troika. The first meeting was conducted virtually on 25 March 2025. The Troika, comprising the current Forum Chair, which is Tonga, the outgoing Chair, which is Cook Islands, and the incoming Chair, the Solomon Islands, is the body established by the Forum leaders to oversee the work of the Forum Secretariat on its behalf in between the annual Forum leaders meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, by virtue of the fact that we will be hosting the 54th meeting of the Pacific Islands Forum leaders in Honiara from 8th to 12th September this year, we, Solomon Islands, is a member of Troika. The second meeting of the Troika considered updates from the Forum, from the Secretariat on the following 5 areas. 1, Troika dialogue with New Caledonia. 2nd, the Secretary General's quarterly report. 3rd, the Pacific Resilience Facility. 4, implications of U.S. decisions. 5th, review of the regional architecture.
Prime Minister Manele added he held 2 bilateral meetings at the margins of the Troika meeting.
In terms of bilateral meetings, I also took the opportunity to hold 2 bilateral meetings at the margins of Troika meeting as follows. With the Prime Minister of Cook Islands, we had a constructive bilateral discussion with Hon McBrown on a range of issues of mutual interest to both countries, including labor mobility. Both countries agreed to keep in close communication on all these issues, including celebrating Cook Island's 60th Constitutional Day. 2nd, with the Prime Minister of Fiji, I also met and discussed with several issues with Fiji's Prime Minister, including the review of the Solomon Islands Fiji Air Services Agreement, the Fiji Military Force Cemetery, as well as the Fiji Solomon Islands bilateral security arrangements. We also discussed the possible role for MSG in the peace process in New Caledonia. And also I have provided him on updates on our preparations for the 54th Forum Leaders Meeting in September. Overall, it was a very successful Troika meeting.
Solomon Water has officially launched its 5-year corporate strategic plan for 2024 to 2028. Simon Tavake reports.
Solomon Water has officially launched its 5-year corporate strategic plan for 2024 to 2028. The launch took place during the Business After 5 event held at the Heritage Park Hotel last Friday. Chief Executive Officer Kamin Piantidosi told SIBC TV that the plan sets out the vision to improve water services in Honiara and across the country.
It's important. It's important for all our stakeholders, all our customers, and SIBC because it sets the vision going forward on what we need to change to improve our services, our water services, our sanitation services, and also sets a plan forward to develop our staff, our infrastructure, expand our network, and improve access to water supply and water services, not just in Honiara, but in the provincial centres that we operate also.
Mr. Piantedosi also said that the strategy focuses heavily on upgrading Solomon Water's infrastructure to ensure long-term service delivery.
So the plan is very detailed in infrastructure development, right? Building production facilities, storage facilities, mains, pipework, and supply networks to customers. Because the plan is all about providing access to clean water to customers within Solomon Islands.
SIBC TV understands the strategic plan will be reviewed and updated annually to monitor progress and make any necessary adjustments. Simon Tawake, SIBC TV.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and the Isabel Provincial Government have signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU that allocates 687 hectares of land within the Gozaruru property. Minister of Agriculture Honorable Franklin Derek Wasi, in an interview with SIBC News, said the agreement paves the way for agricultural development programs, including research initiatives.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and the Isabel Provincial Government for use below 687 hectares of land for agricultural development. So we did sign one first MOU in 2017. That one I'm only for 383 hectares of land. The one that we were just signed him normal Friday when we go increase to 687 hectares of land. So the land that we sign him is for free. Isabel Provincial Government and gave this for free, so we are not renting the land. It's free for use. So after some time, we will decide for go back. Isabel for assume now got a national cattle breeding center, believe me, there. A national rice demo center too, and the other one, the germplasm for cocoa and coconut too. Improve genetic materials, and to Lodea, and also for pig multiplication and distribution center. So, and now plus infrastructure for staff, housing, and awesome. So I'm making up a total of 687 hectares of land. So this signing him supersede him, the one that the ministry am signing with him, Isabel 2017. So him main thing about this whole signing why him significant for ministry and the Isabel Provincial Government.
Minister Wasi says they are now planning to have the land developed under the ministry's development budget.
So the first and foremost now is we have to ensure that we have houses that are there. And also main thing too, roads, because road from Buala Kasim goes to Ruru and a little bit no good this time. I must say that. Only land cruiser no more ago, so I need na sa road maintenance. So we went there using boat. So if I arrive down, then just take a land cruiser arrive and then pick him go site. So road too one fall face something, but with the budget, the development budget below Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, we feel ready now, we are prepared. So already we have a small house, 7-bedroom that I'm ready for some of our officers to go down and start him off now that for work. And also we will be needing communities new, especially with the land clearing and everything, for starting off now development. So I think him na the thing will need him house for him repair, roads too for set and everything by him. So we'll go starting off in May also. Thank you.
He also thanked the Isabel provincial government for their support in availing their land for the country's agricultural development.
On behalf of Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and the Solomon Island government, we'd like to give him this full chance for really thanking Isabel provincial government, Premier Executive Blahem, for looking that fala need where agriculture and garem and what bara was supporting. Also this year what Isabel provincial government too for the first time have allocated a little bit big land above 1 million now what allocated for agricultural development. So what looking to that one and me fala come in more bara good. It's good thing for if everyone start off together. My appeal no more is land. Wherever you talk about land, talk about development, you have to have land for all this development. So thank you. Now, if other provinces can also do for giving land for ministry like Isabel provincial government, I think I'm good too much. You need to talk about all these things here, but you need him land for what development they for come. So on behalf of ministry and the Solomon Island government, we like say thank you too much for Premier Isabel and executive and the good people of Isabel province for allowing this 687 hectares of land for agricultural development, not only for Isabel but for the whole Solomon Islands.
The Solomon Islands Tertiary Education and Skills Authority, SITESA, has revealed that around $53 million from its 2024 scholarship budget was left unspent. SITESA's Chief Executive Officer, Constance Nasi, made the confirmation when she appeared before the Parliamentary Public Expenditure Committee recently. She explained that the unspent amount is part of a total scholarship allocation of around $200 million Solomon dollars.
31st of May, there was a circular on budget reserve. So I think a submission from MERD was 53 million reserved from the scholarship budget. The total, I think, budget reserve, look papers here, but I'm sure I think it's around 74 million. MERD contributed 250 million budget reserve, and out of that, I think 82% came from SITESA budget, including the NTU. So, Director by confirming that payment came open around end of November or December for the payment of allowances and other tuitions and so forth. So that could be an issue that was why the reason.
Meanwhile, Director of the National Scholarship Division, Dr. John Iromea, said the budget reservation was due to an increase in the number of scholarships awarded last year.
The number has increased from 2023 to 2024. The 23 was roughly around 900 and something 80 or so, around that figure. But in 2024 last year, it was around 1,068. So that was an increase of, actually the number that was expected was supposed to be around 1,000. That's the scholarship figure that we're supposed to offer to students. And so last year we offered 1,000 and around 68 scholarship. So there was an increase. And unfortunately, we could not offer because we had some of this due deadline according to our scholarship conditional offer. So once the deadline was reached, we could not go further. So that's according to the policy we have. So that's why we could not go further to offer some scholarships to the students.
Officers from the Public Solicitor's Office and the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs have wrapped up a two-day workshop aimed at strengthening policy development in line with national government plans. Sharon now reports.
Administration and management officers from the Public Solicitor's Office and the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs successfully concluded its two-day workshop yesterday. In an interview with SIBC News Public Solicitor's Office Chief Legal Officer, Visible General George Tidy says the workshop held aims to help administration and management officers within the justice arm of government to create policies in line with the government's plan.
And basically this program have come out from one of training programs where we sign him now with them, the Fiji Legal Aid Commission. It's a training program. This training program if I usually get out offices, legal offices bloom go, do attachment there, and legal offices blota come left for doing trainings from fella. So this training program signed in 2024. And while me send them out legal offices bloom for attending these trainings, me come for realizing the importance of the administration and management and play inside lot offices bloom fella. So basically this training program happen for 2 days. Me call them administration and management training. Well, basically I'm supposed to be for the public solicitor's office as part of the training program. But me like for inviting to other agencies within the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. So at the moment me got office managers from Attorney General's office, public prosecution, and also some officers from the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. So if everyone come together, and this was training basically about what now the certain policies when we come up with them, especially those standard operating procedures, how for doing budgeting, and how for look at what now the policies were government and wakalem, and also what now ministry bloom for strategic framework bloom ministry bloom for wakalem, and how now bamfal agencies me align him to what policies so how me doing budgeting or bamsa align with them important things so government and ministries like him.
He added the workshop also offers the agencies under the justice system an opportunity to meet and identify areas in which they can improve on.
Since me call them all the other office managers and also the head office me come together, it's an opportunity for me everyone to come together while doing the training. Me come for look into where not the areas me need for improve them, where not the areas me need for pull them up, not socks bloom for them to in order for assist him the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs and other legal officers within this ministry for performing the duties bloated to the best of their ability. Because if I come for realizing that without the administrators and managers within these offices or agencies, it's a little bit complicated to for deliver them the legal mandates. So I think that is one of the important thing about him this training. So while it's a training on its own, it's an opportunity for him to come together.
SIBC News understands the workshop is funded by the Australian government through the Australia-Solomon Islands Partnership for Justice Programme. Sharon Nanal for SIBC TV.
Allowances for Solomon Islands government scholarship students is determined by the cost of living in the respective countries they study in. Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development's Permanent Secretary Dr. Franco Rodi told the Parliamentary Public Expenditure Committee. He said, despite this, the ministry tries not to have other students on scholarship having a higher allowance than others.
To my knowledge, there are certain factors that you have to look at, and the cost of living is one of the key factors that we use to determine how much now the Fiji students should receive or the Papua New Guinea. We don't want to make one group get more than the other, because of the situation in those countries. We got to adjust it. So students are compared, what they're getting at, or receiving Fiji or Papua New Guinea, and we try to adjust those. So that's how we determine, cost belong or allowances. But one thing that we have introduced is that we can get them establishment allowance to start them off, and they get the same figure but in different currencies. Yes? So like those who go to USP would receive that amount in Fijian dollars. The same is true here as well as in PNG. But the rest of the stipend might be quite different. Thank you.
It's welcome news for local music artists, producers and musicians something they've long been waiting for. Next month, the Solomon Islands will launch its first ever collective management organization, a move set to help artists earn income from their work. Simon Tavake with the details.
As many would say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Good things do come around. The same can now be said for local artists in the country who will no longer have to create music purely out of passion, only for the work to go unrecognized. You broke my heart into hearts. A new opportunity is on the horizon, one that will help promote the music and allow them to earn income from their creativity. Next month, Solomon Islands will launch its first ever collective management organization, or CMO, operating under the name Solomon Islands Performing Rights Organization, or CIPRO. The CMO will help local artists and musicians benefit from their creative work.
Now, in terms of music, there is one way where the musicians they can benefit from. And one is through the establishment of what I call them CMO. CMO is in short stand for Collecting Management Organization. Now, at the moment, I will say that the government of Solomon Islands is going to assist the establishment of the Collecting Management Organization because of its potential as a contributor to the economy and also contributing to the cultural and creative industry. So this is something that is important for the economy of the country. And so we are going to launch the our collecting management organization on the 21st of May, 2025. So this is something like probably we are starting now, a small step, but probably in the next 10 or 20 years, maybe looking what not the difference that the collecting management organization can by creative.
Mr. Marita explains that CMOs in the music industry represent rights holders and manage their rights for musical works and sound recordings, ensuring artists get paid when the music is used.
Now, CMOs are established to safeguard and also to regulate the income and royalties of the musicians. Or you may say selling blogger. So the CMOs or the collecting management organization help for promoting more artists and also help to sell licenses or agreements between companies, media stations, radio stations, including restaurants for playing now the songs blogger. So what happens is that musicians, you register. You register with the collecting management organization. You register your songs, and then the collecting management organizations may help for marketing, not songs play you. So they're doing a big marketing job for you, and also they're collecting your royalties. So what now I go companies, radio stations, nightclubs, business houses, and say, look, you want to play other songs, you pay license. Yeah, you pay license. So the license they pay for monthly license or maybe for 6 months or a year, and then they are licensed to play the songs. And every time I play a song, they're paying a royalty, maybe $10 every time I play a song.
In addition to the establishment of the CMO, the Copyright Act of 1988 is currently under review. This process is being led by the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs. However, SIBC TV understands that the current act remains in effect. Meanwhile, an intellectual property workshop is also scheduled for next week as efforts continue to strengthen copyright and creative rights in the country. I'm Simon Tavake for SIBC TV.
Now, the Australian government, through the Australian Solomon Islands Partnership for Justice program, handed over computers and scanners to the High Court. Sharon now reports.
The Australian government, through the Australian Solomon Islands Partnership for Justice program, ASIPJ, yesterday handed over computers and scanners to the High Court. The equipment's handover will help the court in uploading its publication on court rulings. In his remarks at the handover, Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs Permanent Secretary George Hoau says citizens have the right to access and seek court ruling once court cases are completed.
The scanners here are actually no ordinary scanners. Otherwise you into the scanners and you think, oh, these are just scanning for. No, these are different. That is to do with publications, uploading publications. Now, let me start with this. See, for us, the national judiciary has, every time people talk about the courts, we think about CJ, about judges, about lawyers. Yeah? We forget about, there are other people who do work with the national judiciary. We work are immensely important. Judgments, the moment you have judgment out by, the judgment must be uploaded for public to access. It is actually a right for people in a country to read judgments online. It must be freely accessible. It's actually a right. Yeah. Judgments, when they come out, are not just for people who are part of those cases. They must come out for people to read. That leads to a big word in law. Now, there are lawyers here. Well, the more people read and they see judgment from the Solomons, the more other courts start using our cases for them. The more this happens, it creates what is called a legal jurisprudence. It creates a jurisprudence for the Solomon Islands. Yeah? Now, that is something that is very important.
Mr. Hoau added having the equipment will also help their work in digitizing their files.
This is not only for judges around the world. I was reliably informed by several potential investors who want to come to the Solomon. They said that the first thing they could check is not a Solomon Island lawyer. They get their legal people to go to Berkeley and read about cases in the Solomons with respect to businesses, this is where this work of Berkeley and having publication up is important. But at the same time, it leads to an important major work that we would like to see with the national judiciary, yeah? The digitization of judiciary. Ensure that documents are online, yeah? At the moment, there is e-filing already. It's a whole project. In the 21st century, that time that we are now, yeah, things must be digitized. We must ensure that they're secured by being online. We must also ensure that people access them online. The next generation of users of courts and our system in this country are going to be virtual, people online.
Sharon Nanel for SIBC TV.
Solomon Water is developing a new water treatment plant in Noro Western Province as part of its 2024-2028 strategic plan. Chief Executive Officer Carmine Piantidosi told SIBC News that the organization is also working on 3 new reservoirs across the country to improve water access and reliability.
Well, at the moment, we've just started work on our water treatment plant in Noro, which was, we had the groundbreaking ceremony last week, and the contractors are on site starting the work. There's a number of wash programs that we also do. There's 5 components to the program of works, apart from building infrastructure, replacing infrastructure, pipes and whatever. We've got 3 reservoirs that are being built, almost complete, should be complete this year. That's for storages. We're still looking at developing a water treatment plant for Kongalai, and we're looking at other opportunities for water source to secure our supply for Honiara. We're looking at also doing work in Auki, Noro, I've just said, Munda, as well as Gizo. We're trying to provide that service there as well. But they're all initial planning stages, but is part of this corporate plan.
Mr. Piantidosi adds that Solomon Water is also addressing the legal issues affecting the Kongulai project to ensure construction can resume without further delays.
Well, the Kongulai at the moment is going through a couple of issues, legal issues, and we need to resolve those issues, and that's what Solomon Water is managing at the moment. But I can't really say too much more about it, other than I can't forecast when we're going to get back on track with that project. But we're doing everything we can to progress that project forward. But we need to manage the legal issues at the moment, the contractual and legal issues.
The Royal Solomon Islands Police Force has initiated a 2-day community policing awareness program in Honiara. Mary Manelegwa with the details.
The Royal Solomon Islands Police Force, RSIPF, initiated a 2-day community policing awareness program in Honiara yesterday. With the theme, "You Stand Together for Peace and Safe Happy Isles," the program is supported by the New Zealand police team here in Honiara. During an interview with SIBC News, Deputy Commissioner of the National Operations, Juanita Matanga, emphasized the primary objectives of the event.
The try for bringing in different stakeholders where contribute to peace and bringing calm, peace and harmony lo people blue me. At the same time, me for giving to some information lo public lo what now wakablo police and by you looking lo some stores lo ya me cover them now work blow EOD where people need for survey to lo what now explosives him all about and what now things him need for the look lo him fire department time any issue to do with fire what now about to dream. Then you look him now, got a different stakeholders where ota come lo here today. Or got come for show cost lo what now services ota provide him. And in support of those services, they now him help him to the collaborations lo work lo police. Because not only police alone will do the job. It's everyone's work that Baba Hemi make him now, this all work him successful.
Matanga also mentioned that through collective efforts, Solomon Islands can build a peaceful nation.
To deal with whatever situation he may come up with him, we need collective effort. And through our collective effort, we can make a lot of difference in our society. Not only that, but for helping to our young generation. And to do that, we have to make some changes. And those changes come with sacrifice. And through those sacrifices, na Baba imisabe change him in order for our young people for kata sabe when our kata areas kata sabe go seek him support. At the same time, kata tu sabe change in order for everyone building now a future block country block Yumi.
Mary Manelegwa, SIBC TV.
And that's news. Follow us on sibconline.com.sb and our SIBC News Facebook page for more of our latest stories. Thanks for watching.